10 seconds. Oh, okay, I'll add you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have another matchup on our hands, and I think this is a relief from the upper brackets where Void Hacker has left a lot of people with sore throats, given how, given how much that's what I was to say. Okay, so um, given how much he usually shows his massive balls down their throats, a lot of people have actually been having a lot of sore throats recently. But finally, we are in a controlled environment here in the lower brackets, and we'll be having a matchup between Realm of Kings and Darkstars. And I have the pleasure of introducing my co-host today. Thankfully, he won't be running it alone this time. Mr. Stu, can you say hi to your fans? uh, are you sure? Are you sure it's from the talking? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, fair enough. So, with the new system implemented now, we saw that Realm of Kings chose to have the first pick instead of the second pick, being a bit more in line with the competitive rules. And they've actually started the lobby bans right now. And our Realm of Kings actually opted to ban Brody. Darkstars answered with Xborg. And now, wait, okay. So, Realm of Kings' second ban being Ruby. And the final ban for Darkstars to end the first phase of the lobby bans will be drumroll Yi Sun Shin. Okay, so Xborg, Ruby, Brody, and Yi Sun Shin banned. So what do you think about these bans, Stu? Because I don't think there's anyone that exactly stands out to me except Yi Sun Shin. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome to Grok's
Your
Castle,
team is
tiny
banning.
friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thorns remain,
Your
should
team
petals
is
fall.
banning.
Yeah.
Muscle of iron,
Your
bones
team
of
is
steel.
banning.
Chivalry is dead, and I
Your
will
team
revive
is
it.
picking.
Of course, there's also Kalia, but then I don't really consider her as a tank. She's more of a set support with the heals and
Yeah.
the assassinations, if you if you want to term it that way. But yeah, what are you thinking about this draft? We actually do have 10 seconds I'm trying to while away time so that they pick their first hero, and then we can go on
Only
to the
love
speculation.
and
But
night
it's actually
are
not a dragon, it's a
everlasting.
Sicilian. So what do you think about that,
Let
Davis?
them play the hero.
Yes,
I will be the
that's
truth
the
this world desperately
very top
needs.
hero in the Nigerian meta right now. That's Sicilian pick.
Payback
But the
time.
dragon that you speculated they were going to first pick is actually going to be on the side of Darkstars, and they also have that Fasa as well. So there's going to be a lot of flying.
This land is our homeland,
Probably
and it will
Realm
soon
of
be
Kings will have
our
to
ground.
issue a no fly zone
Don't finish
in
off
the
what
Land
was
of Dawn to
left
make sure that they
undone.
actually secure this win against
Your
Darkstars.
team is
But
banning.
Realm of Kings actually going for that Lapu Lapu and then the Minotaur. So that's the next best
Let's
oppressive
go.
tank pick right
Your
now,
team
since
is
the
banning.
likes of Gatotkacha and Grok are banned. But it's interesting to see Ame on this Claude. I don't think I've seen anyone, or I don't quite remember anyone else on this Claude hero during this tournament. So this is most likely a debut. But hmm, so far, I'm actually liking both drafts. I can't
My
lie,
kiss. Your
but we'll
team
see
would
how the
grant
execution will be
immortality
eventually. But the last bounce from
or
both
death.
teams is going to be the Alice and the Tiger Woman, wherever she may be. So, Stu, um, is the final pick from both teams to give us the full
Your
draft,
team is picking.
and it's looking like they're going to start with Valerie.
Um, the Tiger Woman is Irito. But right now, I have a bitter sweet, should I say, taste with the draft on the side of Dark Stars, specifically because of that Claude pick. Because looking into this, that Claude pick was insta locked after a Minotaur. And we
Yeah,
all know that
None can
Claude
resist
gets
my
cancelled
Your
charm.
out by
team is
knockup.
Not
picking.
even my
Minotaur is the
enemies.
knockup king. So yeah, it's like I don't feel that they actually
There
contemplated that,
is
but
no
we
more
see
Monkey King.
actually a Sun pick here. But yeah, looking at this, I feel that Claude came in as an answer to the Sicilian, just to have someone that can assist you Young in the dives as well as the Feather Strike coming in from Fasa.
hmm,
And this Beleric pick should be an answer to the Minotaur. I'm not sure about currently, but then there was a time that the Beleric was considered
yeah,
a counter to the Mino, and it's like anytime that Minion Fury does activate, then the Beleric can just activate his turns, and then because he has a larger AoE, he takes more control over the fight, and it ends up being his team that comes out on top in exchange of AoE sets. But yeah, right now we are seeing more unconventional picks in the likes of in the way of that Sun. I don't really know what we
yeah.
should be expecting
That's
from this
exactly
hero
what I wanted
here,
to point out.
especially like yeah, I mean he can immune the Oigi Shadow Q from my Wimper Loudly, but then he still doesn't have the best of early game, and yeah,
Yeah,
to be honest, there is more late game scaling in the form of a Sicilian and even the Hayabusa and the Granger. So
yeah,
yeah, the side of Realm of Kings aren't the most early game oppressive, but it's gonna be interesting to see how this pans out. I
yeah,
would say that the dragon really does give them a lot of early game pressure in that first total fight, but so does the Lapu Lapu,
yeah,
more so the dragon. So I would I would actually give this um, first Totsu to the side of Realm of Kings, and how it pans out would depend heavily on the performance of both XP laners exclusively.
yeah. Yeah, indeed, indeed. That's actually quite a quantitative analysis on that. So we'll actually have to see how that pans out eventually. But so far, it's looking like basically a stalemate on both side lanes right now. But I did actually see some good work being done by Wimper Loudly right there. Quite industrious use of his quad shadows to get a kill, a secure rather, on that
First
lethal.
blood.
Oh, yep, I caused it. I said it was a stalemate, and 2 seconds later, he gets a first blood on Vortex. But it's looking like a bit of activity is being going down in this bot lane. We actually see Awimpa loudly going in with the Oigi shadow kill and then trying to flex with the fast hands on his core shadow, but it's not quite enough. So it's like you said, Stu. Lucifer on this soon pick is actually basically living life as he should.
Yeah, right now he's just not having to deal with oof, but looks like in the jungle that petrify going to be committed by Lidux. He does activate the Black Dragon Font to escape here, and Iwimper Laudi will secure his purple buff. While Amir, please remind me the name of Claude's ultimate. Just is
The
double farming the waves. What's it?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
The Claude's ultimate.
Oh, I also can't remember for some
Blazing
reason.
Duet.
Yeah.
Ooh, but the Minuan Fury is activated and Mosquito Dio has to pop that Purify to be able to escape from the Sanguine Claws coming in from what am I doing? But he activates that Feather There Strike and secures that kill onto Kisi Ryota. But yeah, essentially what I'm trying to say is this dragon did outperform Vortex,
Yeah.
eliminating him before the first fight. That looks like it's a pause request in the top lane. Is the referee not seeing this? If they do not, I will be granting this pause.
I think it's
Okay.
better with cramps.
Yeah, I'll grant this pause. Um, did you unpause?
No, I didn't. That was not me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, essentially, right now,
Yeah.
the side of um, Realm of Kings ended up burning all their skills before the turtle even spawned, so they couldn't commit, and they had an explainer down. And right now, you can see Lidux is leading. I wish we could check the gold, but he is leading in level, right?
Yeah.
With him almost being at level 7 and Vortex still trying to reach level 6. So this isn't what you want to see in the early game because, like I
True.
said, the early game heroes of this matchup heavily depends on the XP laners,
Yeah.
and that's gonna like really affect the performance of these individual heroes. Is really gonna affect the outcome of the entire team and how long that they could hold on.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now, the South Realm of Kings are gonna want to maybe load a gank onto Linux, which
Yeah.
isn't, usually you don't gank the XP lane, but
Yeah.
because your early game is dependent on that and you have a lot of late game heroes, you're just gonna want to give that your early game hero a bit of a boost so that he can carry you through the early game and your heroes can focus on farming, because the Fasa is also very good in the early game with those feather strikes, and Sicilian's going to take a long time to actually match up in terms of damage. So yeah, it's that's my analysis. But what are you thinking about this game, Davis?
Me, I'm still just focused on this soon pick and how it's supposed to just be a pick that is reserved for the bots in ranked. But so far, Lucifer is actually making it look quite good, especially against this Hayabusa pick. So it seems like it's actually a very effective soft counter in the jungle to his skills. So I'm definitely eager to see how this matchup will pan out. But we're seeing a little bit of a scuffle in the bot lane, and it's basically been I whimper loudly being zoned out of his jungle this early into the game, and that would definitely not bode well for him on the long run. Um, Once again, this spot lane actually being sort of a hotspot for all the activities. We actually see Aegon pushing this advantage right now, trying to get a kill on Amir, but he actually goes in with that blazing duet and absolutely melts Aegon before he can even reflexively respond right there. But we see Ludox around the turtle area, going in with the black
Red
shadow,
team has
the
slain
black
the
dragon
turtle.
form, and also investing the purifier right there, and then the feather there strike coming in as well. No one exactly gets taken down, but we are just seeing Lucifer. Lucifer is in a different world on his own, right? Everyone is in the bot lane fighting, everyone is in the mid lane fighting. Lucifer is just here in all the sunshine and
Blue
these
team turret has
daisies,
been
having a good
destroyed.
time, Stu. I don't know. Are you sure this guy is actually here to fight?
Right now, we can just see Lucifer playing as a Sun main. The fights don't actually concern you. All you care about are the towers, even if you're in the jungle. But yeah, we can see that it's a 0-3 kill count and a 3k gold lead, more or less a 2.8k gold lead, going in favor of Darkstars here.
Yeah,
And you can just see that Claude pick actually faring pretty well at this stage in the game versus the Granger,
yeah,
and even though I felt that this was more intense. Ooh, sorry. Okay, no, it looks like that none of that will happen. Intended towards the Sicilian pick. Maybe something like a Clint would have been a better pick here.
yeah,
Oh boy, if you look in the top
Red
lane,
team's
there is
hero
a
has
fight
been
between
slain.
Vortex and Lidux, and Vortex will fall again. But the feather that strike to do so much damage onto
Blue
Aegeon.
team's
There is
hero
a
has
flicker
been
too,
slain.
and he would not be caught by that Minuan's rage.
Blue
Oigi
team's
Shadow
turret
Q
has been
committed onto
destroyed.
Kitsune, but the vengeance will be popped and he will survive that. Lucifer finally joining the fight after taking down that mid lane tower. They will be sandwiched here. And that would be, ooh,
Blue
look
team
at the
hero has
damage
been
onto what am I
slain.
doing?
Blue team turret has been
Kiseriota will
destroyed.
fall next to that feather there strike. You're under your tower, but you are not safe from this sun and faster combo. But yeah,
Blue team
that we
turret
could
has
just
been
this is a
destroyed.
0-7 kill count now, and we're looking at 5 point something k. Okay, I failed math school. We're looking at 5 point
Red
something
team
k
has
gold lead,
slain the
and
turtle.
it's not looking good. Like it's just not looking good right now. We all know how squishy a Minotaur becomes when he's
yeah,
behind in gold. Uh, Lapu Lapu is very tanky, but he is not a tank. He's more of a the world's bravest fighter. He goes in against 5 people and he comes out taking out two and dying himself. Um, but yeah, he's 2 levels behind Lidux now,
yeah.
and yeah, it's just going to show that this is going to be a very tough match to actually try and come back from.
Yeah, indeed. I'm actually the one who paused this time. I actually saw three pause requests right there from the side of Darkstars. So I guess our referee also missed them as well. So I just decided to use my own discretion to give them that pause. But yeah, it's definitely playing into the hands of Darkstars right now. Realm of Kings need to get their stuff together and find a way to actually get back into this game because it's quickly getting out of their hands. Um, Especially the likes of Vortex. He needs to take his challenges in that EXP lane a bit more carefully and needs to be a bit more calculated with his engages right there. But we really need to ask what am I doing, what he is doing, because that kill under that tower, I mean, I guess it's not exactly his fault because as it stands, Lucifer is just so over farmed that he doesn't even need to be under the turret to get that kill. He can just throw his clones and hit them with the staff and just walk away, and his clones will do the rest of the work. That is a typical Sun player gameplay right there. They just those are the only three buttons they know how to press. They press the summoning button to bring their clone. They throw the spear, the staff, and they slam the staff on the opponent, and then they walk out. That's all that they know how to
I
do
think you
during
missed one
fights.
button. They know how to hit like the tower specific basic attack button. You know that
Yeah.
one in the advanced settings. Yeah, so it's for actually four.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, let's give them four buttons, but that's basically a Sun player. summary right there. And I'm still a bit surprised that it's working out as much as it is. But let's see how long they can hold this advantage, and if they do, let's see if we actually give them the wins too.
Yeah, was Clint actually banned out in the lobby?
I
Because
don't
we
believe
have
so.
seen AG on this Clint multiple times. I'm not very sure why it was Granger pick this time. Clint would have, more or less booted this Claude, and that would be additional early game to add to the Sicilian pick.
Yeah,
Because it's never a good idea to carry your main damage dealers and have all of them be late game heroes.
true.
But yeah, looks like there will be. That is the minimum Fury that is committed here.
Oh
Kitsune
my
in the
goodness.
background. Oof, but look at that damage coming in from Claude. And Vortex. He lands the stun and managed to survive with a sliver of HP. Casario to actually keep him alive together with the Flask of Oasis. But yeah, right now that was just a perfect cue for Amir. Just dive with the Blazing Duet because Minotaur has used his knockup.
Yeah,
That's exactly what just happened there. Oh, but the Sanguine Claws to catch onto Mosquito Dio. He does activate the Purify and escapes from the Bath first.
yeah, definitely. So from that engage, is looking like Realm of Kings are actually reaching their point right now, where they are getting to the maximum of their scaling, especially the likes of Sicilian right there. I don't know if I'll be able to see. Oh, well, I can't see his stacks from here, sadly. But I think at this point he should be around about 150 stacks at least. So that's definitely something that Darkstars will want to keep an eye on as they hope to take this game. But they did secure the Lord uncontested, of course, because I don't think there's anyone on the Realm of Kings in their right mind who will want to contest that Lord as it stands. And he will actually be matching top lane. So let's see how well Darkstars will be able to sync their waves, and how many inhibitor turrets they can take. But actually see Awimpa loudly going in with that quad shadow key and investing that Oigi shadow kill after the quad shadows. But Amir with a masterful flicker to get out of the way. Mosquito Dio is really playing with fire at this point, and Lidox actually bites, takes the bait, and we see that Minoan Fury committed to counter engage, and Lidox actually manages to escape with his life, but Kitsune falls. That's the life of a Roma right there. You have to be the sacrifice when your team engages and eventually disengages. There are no disengages for a tank. They have to die in the battle. What is that life still? Don't you think?
Right now we can just see how broken auto aim is because it managed to save that Fasa from impending death. That that stun from the Lapu actually not landing onto the Fasa and instead going onto Kitsune.
Yeah,
Even after she had spent her wings by wings as well as Purify. It's just very unfortunate. But yeah, right now we can just see that Sicilian dealing a crazy amount of damage and
yeah,
landing those sanguine claws to just catch the enemy off guard. That is their first kill, and let's know that they had a 10k gold deficit in that fight and we're still able to come out on top of it. So it is like it is absolutely not a small oof. Irwin Polali tries to secure his purple buff, but he would not be able to. Yeah, well, like it is no small feat to be able to
yeah,
beat that behind in gold and still come out on top in the fight. And we can see what am I doing, carrying that first kill of the entire game and being on a 110 KDA. So you can tell that he has been diligent and focused on stacking specifically.
yeah,
And yeah, we're gonna Lidox is gonna need to focus on that Sicilian together with Amir so that he does drop before the fight starts because yeah, otherwise he might be dealing more damage than they bet on. But
yeah.
oof, is this gonna be an engage onto the ducks? No, but Looks like it is, though Iggy Q is committed, but the Black Dragon form will be popped. Iwimper loudly has to retreat here. And Lidox trying to get him in the backline. That is the Petrified committed, but though the Minuan Fury, the Sanguine Claws does not actually connect here. But there is a lot of skills that has been burnt on the side of Realm of Kings. I don't really think that they wanted to make this commitment here.
Yeah, I can just see Wimper loudly basically phasing through the map with his court shadows right there, doing the usual fast hands Hayabusa play. But Lucifer is not even interested in all that. He's just doing his diligence, stealing his farm and pushing the different towers. But I actually see the Lord marching down, and Dio commits that feathered airstrike. Whimper loudly actually goes to the back lines and initiates with his Oegi Shadow kill, but Lidox makes him pay, and we see that previous fighter actually executed right into the base, and that's his shutdown secured on Amir. But they are still the Lord standing, and there's still so many ways right there, and we see that nature shroud used by Kitsune right there just to try to draw their basic attacks out from the minions and onto him, but Lidox manages to get that mega kill on Vortex once again, and he goes in with that furious dive, and he's so grip. But the minions and I believe Son and his clones actually finish off the job right there on the base, and I guess I don't know. Well, we can look at the KD. This is what I'm saying, Stu. I mean, he definitely was instrumental to their win, but the stats not convincing enough for me actually.
80% tower damage done. I don't know what else you need. I don't know what else you need to say other than
Well,
that other than those stats. But yeah, one thing I would say is that Ryota, I feel that in that last fight he should have sacrificed himself to just keep those minions out. So that Sicilian could actually focus with the Sanguine Claws to get those waves. But then, like, it's easy to say this while being up here,
yeah, indeed,
as a
indeed.
spectator. In game is an entirely different ball game. But yeah, GG's to both teams. I would I would call this a fundamental draft flaw from the side of Realm of Kings, getting too many late game heroes and not balancing out the early game and having to be reliant on that Lapu Lapu, who ended up actually falling to Lidox early game, and sometimes it's just way too hard to come back. But yeah, we're going to be going into the next game here, hoping for a lot more competitive game two. But what do you think we're going to see in terms of adjustments and adaptations in this next game, Davis?
I think we'll actually be seeing a Sunburn from Realm of Kings. So just let's just say that I called that. But definitely they will need to reevaluate their drafts and try to get a better balance of both heroes, of both early game and late game heroes.
Seek not the Night
So
Palace,
I
for its
don't know.
secrets are
I
too
mean,
great
I
for you
can't
to
exactly
bear.
question their execution from the first game because they were basically at a deficit right off from the start with how oppressive um, Lucifer was on that sun. So I guess we'll have to see if they actually get a much more um, better draft at this point. If they get that uh, draft, let's see how they would play it out eventually, and hopefully they can actually get a game to their name. I mean, this is the lower brackets right here. If they lose one more time, they are crashing out of the tournament and crashing out hard. So I think they really need to get their things together right now and see how they can come back into this game and possibly even pull off a reverse sweeps too.
Yeah, I also need to correct myself earlier. It's Apex that we have seen on that Clint, not Asian. I don't know.
Oh,
Probably because they both start with A.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If I see a sunburn, I'm turning off my mic. I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm not sure. I guess that prioritizing that Sicilian and living up in that young didn't really work out for them, especially because they had some ancestors to Sicilian
Yeah.
in the likes of that Fasa. So and actually the Claude. Yeah, and actually the Claude. So, um, I'm not sure. Maybe they go for the Grok or they go for the Yuzhong this time. But like that's the problem with being first pick. It's cool, because you get to secure a priority hero, but at the same time, you can be denied two priority heroes. So now we're
Yeah.
talking about rotating between the Grok, the Yuzhong, as well as the Sicilian, and if you draft properly, you can leave um, quite a bit of those open and trade one pick for another. You just adjust according to what the enemy picks. But yeah, right now I'm kind of out of my wits end with the speculations, because sometimes you try and you pontificate and then you form all these theories and then they just go pick a sun jungle, and everything you've been discussing for the
Exactly.
past half hour just yeah, it's for you on your pockets. But yeah, we're just waiting for them to be complete in this lobby. I believe it's one more person left from the side of Darkstars, and that would actually be Amir. But mm, yeah, what heroes? Let's step away from the speculation. Um, what hero hasn't made an appearance in this tournament so far that you are interested in seeing?
That's very easy. Maybe a Gord or a Sylvia. I would actually would like
Okay,
to see. Yeah, either of those.
I knew that's what you're gonna say.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I mean, there are very few heroes that I enjoy playing. In terms of, I mean, just generally as a whole. But for the rumors, I mean, hmm. Oh, I would actually like to see Kufra come back into the rotation of rumors actually, because his fall off has been generational. Not he was not exactly. I mean, he was actually even buffed recently, but most people
Yeah,
don't seem
Blitzkrieg
to.
is back.
Yeah, they don't seem to be picking up on that, or they don't think it is enough to make him a viable option in the room. But I mean, I get their point also. Given the likes of Grok and Mino right now are just running rampage all over the land of Dawn, I would also be a bit skeptical about having that Kufra pick as my main roam option while going up against options like that. So, but a man can wish. I mean, so if it happens, it happens to you.
I guess we have actually seen a Kufra pick from the side of Otsutsuki when Indra faced off against Shinigami. I believe that in one of those games there was a Kufra pick. Yeah, I believe that was the first game and the game that they did win in the series
Oh,
before
you see,
Shinigami did a reverse
oh,
sweep.
you see,
Yeah,
secret
yeah.
winning formula
So
right there.
we can say that Kufra has 100% win rate
Uh-huh.
in this tournament so far. But yeah, for me, I would like to see, um, obviously other than Fanny because I'm a Fanny fan myself.
Yeah.
I would like to see a Valier. I would like to see a Valier pick.
Huh. Huh.
He's pretty cool. Yeah, he's pretty cool
You mean
versus
hot?
tanky heroes. Definitely not within the context you're trying to point out.
So
I
the
would like
main.
to see a Valier. I would like to see a Valier because he has so much CC and CC is valuable, but at the same time, he just gets outranged by these meta mages. Like you carry a Valier
Yeah,
and you're facing a Fasa and you're basically burnt meat. You
indeed.
just well, feather their strike, and you're back to the fountain. So yeah, I can understand why we don't see him, but I would like to see one of those super rare cases
Yeah.
where he's just applicable and then he's just picked. I mean, come on, we've seen a Zask. At least we can see a Valier.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But looking at the lobby bans currently, actually, before we look at that, since Darkstars are asking for an extra minute so that Lucifer can better ready his storms for probably another Sun gameplay right there. Um, I would actually also like to see a Kadita. I think she also had a bit of a buff to her own kits, especially with her ult, the rough waves being only can only be interrupted by a lockdown CC now, not just any CC, but a suppress CC. So I would definitely
Oh,
would like to
really?
see. Yeah, yeah, it has actually been used. So most people don't they don't even know about it. So these little adjustments could actually make a whole lot after it could actually, affect the game a whole lot. Just a little adjustment here, a little adjustment there, and then you have a big result. So yeah, I would actually really like to see that. So it seems Darkstars will actually be making. Oh, I mean, it's just Amir was here before. I think he left and then came back. So they are just trying to um bring him back into the game right now. But the lobby bans as it stands is actually Brody, Xbox, Croc, and Yason Shin. I think it's almost a perfect mirror of the lobby bans, also the first phase of lobby bans in the first match. So we'll actually have to proceed to the next match to see how the other phase of the lobby bans will be, and if my prediction of that song being banned is actually going to come true. Um, I already had a portion of the caster's course when I was talking about the side lanes being peaceful, and then the next thing there was already a dead body somewhere around there. For the first team ban right now on the side of Realm of Kings,
The hunt
I think they are
begins.
opting to
Your
ban
team is
Ruby
banning.
and Darkstars. Okay, so Ruby was initially banned in the lobby the last
Thorns
match,
remain.
but I
Your
guess she was
team is
replaced
banning.
with um was that Xbox? Yeah, I think so. Or was it Roger? I really can't. Oh, was it Grok? Yes, it was replaced by Grok in this lobby, and Darkstars actually opting to ban these Lancelots. Huh. Interesting.
Your
Payback
team is
time.
banning.
Interesting indeed. Um,
Chivalry
Lancelot.
is
I don't
dead,
know how good
and I
Your
will
Iwimpa
team
not.
is
Loudly is
picking.
actually on that Lancelot, but if you have the Fasa and the Clint ban to actually close out the first phase of the second phase of the lobby bans. There's a lot of phases, but it's not big phase anyway. That guy's a fraud. Right. So, Stu, so far, what do you think?
So far as we can see, the Ruby band followed by the Lancelot band just means
Only
you.
love and night.
Okay, it looks like they're
Your
actually
team
going for that
Everlasting.
Sicilian pick again,
them play the
and that would
hero.
of course be followed
I
up
will
by
be the
that
truth
Yuzhong
this world
pick. But
desperately
this time they
needs.
do ban out the Fasa so that they can have their Sicilian in peace. So yeah, so we're seeing the adaptation, all the adjustments, however you want to term it, from the side of Realm of Kings, and just like I said, we're seeing a Zask pick over a Valier. This is send this game to zero.
Yeah.
Dark Stars to lose in 10
We'll
minutes.
finish off what was
Yeah, I'm
left
kidding. But
undone.
okay, so this is just the repeat of the first draft from the side of Realm of Kings. I'm not sure what their next pick is gonna be. Okay, this time instead of the Lapu, they're going for the
Come
glue
on,
pick,
Dexter. It's
which
our
is
show
fair
time.
versus Oyujong as well as Zask. Although yeah, he's not gonna win the matchup versus the Zhong, but he's definitely gonna keep up in the early game. I guess Vortex trying to exchange blows with
Let's go.
Lidux on that
Your
Lapu
team
in
is
the early
banning.
game was what caused him to fall that quickly and give the XP advantage to the side of Darkstars. But yeah, Amir going on this Claude again. Never mind the Minotaur worked out for him last time. Why shouldn't it work out for him again? Um, but yeah, I'm hoping to see a more competitive matchup, and I believe that Kise Ryota will show us something
Yeah.
interesting in how he manages the Miniran Fury this time.
Yeah, it's actually interesting that his IGN is Chiseriota right there. So definitely be wanting to copy a lot of the skills and the plays from Darkstars and even his teammates and use that to improve
Your
his own
team is
abilities.
picking.
So let's see how far he can actually take that ability. And but after the bans, the final bans being Irithel and Katotkacha once again, we see an Akai pick. Yeah. I mean, recently we also had picks that took us back in time in the likes of that uh oh, I fail to remember. Yeah, Mattis. It was a Mattis pick,
I'll
right?
write
So
my
that
own
Mattis pick
history.
all the way
Your
from
team has
the
been
year of our
defeated.
Lord 2020 being brought back to 2025. And now we are seeing Akai from 2023 being also brought back into 2025. I mean, I think there are still a whole lot of better roam options than Akai as it stands, but I'm not in the inner circle of Darkstars. I don't know what they have planned. I may not be familiar with their game as it stands. But let's see how they actually manage to pull that off. But we see Iwin they're actually following in Levi's footsteps right there, going for the fusion. And I believe Kama also picked that as well. And the Moskov as the final pick. And we have another surprising pick in the person of this Leo mod, and he has been reworked a few times recently as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this matchup. But in your opinion, Stu, who do you think has a more favorable draft as it stands?
Okay.
Yeah, I just asked who you think has a favorable draft as it stands.
Welcome to
Um.
Mobile Legends.
Well, I don't know. Looking
5
at
seconds till the
this
enemy reaches
draft
the
right now,
battlefield.
they
Smash them.
did go for two late
All
game
troops
heroes
deployed.
as their damage dealers being Aegeon and the Honor Moskov. And what am I doing? Another Sicilian again.
Yeah,
And it's just like you don't want to do that. Like we already established why you don't want to do that. And we're seeing an unusual pick here with this Akai,
yeah.
but I'm actually a fan of the Akai
Hmm,
because those heavy spins, yeah,
hmm.
those heavy spins can be really crucial in fights
True,
if you
true.
know how to play the hero. But at the same time, he
That's
can be,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, go
at the
ahead.
same time. Yeah, at the same time, he can be dealt with. That's why we don't see him as often. But oof,
Yeah.
that is gonna be an engage onto Arimpo loudly
Oh
in his
my.
own jungle, and he
Red
will
team
fall
hero
to
has
Lidux.
been
But that
slain.
would be Vortex coming in with that stick to make sure that his jungler doesn't fall in vain. But yeah, as we can see, that Grushan jungle that I was just about to touch on
Yeah.
really isn't. I don't like. We saw this with Shinigami, and I think we also saw this with
Come
Xenagog
on.
with
Yeah.
actually a Gushan. Yeah, with actually a Gushan mid. Um, and it's just yeah this is not the hero. I don't know why they picked this, but
Hmm.
Kitsune just actually going to be a thorn in the side because we all know how much early game damage that Akai has, and he just essentially bullies those assassins. But oof, Aegeon will flicker out of there and escape with his life. But we can see Lucifer here in the jungle. He's trying to invade, get some of this creep, but Kiseriota actually gonna take the safe way around so that he would not take unnecessary damage here. But yeah, I mean, Polanyi did reach level 4 and would be able to cast his ultimate, the incandescence during the fights. But
right now. Oh, Vortex actually caught out here in the background, taking way too much damage. He will flicker out and not be able to survive. Kiseriota will survive this and heal, but the Bass Fest coming in from what am I doing as well as the Sanguine Claws, and that would be a kill secured onto Kitsune. The turtle is still up. The jungler is still up and he has his retribution. Will he be trying to contest this? No, he would actually just focus and getting this creep. And that would actually be Lucifer on level 5, one level ahead of Irene Pallaudi here. No, the level just was just closed. But yeah, what do you think about this fight here, Davis?
Yeah, so like you pointed out while you were analyzing both drafts, you actually talked about Kitsune on this Akai being a very good pick on the condition that he can actually use those heavy spins as they should be used. And that is a very, very big caveat for Akai players. And so far, from my experience in ranked from Akai players that usually play him, they don't even know what pinning means. They just once they get that knock up and they go to the back line, they just want to push their opponent as far back as they can. They don't know what pinning means. So I hope we won't be seeing something like that right here, because I mean we have enough sore-eyed sights from ranked, so we'll definitely not want to be seeing that in the big screens right here. But I'm actually looking forward to how this will play out. It's looking like a much more balanced game compared to the first games, and it's looking like Realm of Kings may actually have a chance right now to do something meaningful. I Wimper loudly. Definitely will not be whimpering as much as he did last match, but though he has died once, so far it's not as detrimental as it was in the first game. So the next Toto is actually coming up right now. And I think there'll be a bigger contest for it than it was, and Lucifer won't have as easy a time as he did both in the last game and the previous game. But we actually see the Dominators Ascent forced out by Vortex with that split, and that is actually a very big resource to have been baited out right there. We also see the heavy spin as well from the Kitsune, and this is exactly what we were talking about. That was a misplay, if I can say so myself, at that point. But what am I doing? Actually, almost caught out in no man's land right there. Um, Lucifer calling him Babel, and from one animal to another, dishing out some animal abuse right there, and taking down Key Serious. I actually thought that Realm of Kings had the upper hand right there still, but it seems like Darkstars, they have I don't even know what to say right now. They are out of the matrix. They've cracked the code. They are just on a completely different level as it stands.
You can't tell, but I look like a WhatsApp sticker right now after watching that fight because there were just, um, yeah, so many skills that didn't land, and it look like what this is what I'm talking about. Right now, you just see that Dominators
True.
Ascent use that stun. Mosquito Dio, and it just does not connect. This is like your ranked games by 3 a.m. I wonder what's going on right now.
Exactly.
But yeah, looks like there is a pause request here from Lucifer. I'm not sure if that was a mistake. No, it was not. I don't know if the ref can see that, but if I see one more, okay, I'm going to
Yeah, I
grant
think we
this
just
pause.
yeah.
But oof, we might have paused in between a fight in the top lane, between the glue and that Yuzhong. But yeah, it is a big caveat, and even for some of myself, because I like Akai, because I play Akai, at least at the time when I used to. It is a big caveat because those ultimates are difficult to land,
Yeah.
and sometimes you just get it right, and a lot of times you get it wrong. Even when you are used to landing those ults, a little time away from the hero, and you just
Yeah.
you start spinning around, like you're dancing on the dance floor, and yeah, no one's dancing with you. Everyone's just looking from the side and like, yo, who's that weird guy?
in the
I know,
middle.
right?
Like there's no music on right now. But yeah, it is a caveat, but the potential for the hero, even if you can't land those heavy spins, if you can use it to disrupt the fights, to keep your team safe or to disengage, it still does have that potential to be a useful tool, even in the
True,
least useful application.
true,
Um, but yeah, at the same time, we did see the Akai coming into play when they invaded Agushan, just because of how much damage that he has as a tank, facing off against these assassins. So, um, yeah, it's like the Akai does have um, a fair amount of value that can be offered. And if you know you can land those heavy spins, you use it in the opposite way. You be like, okay, the fire started and we're losing, so it's time to get out of here. But yeah,
yeah,
looks like the pause will be stopping. Hopefully, they have sorted out any form of network issue because we are all subject to the reign of MTN here. But that fight's actually not a fight and more of Lidux clearing out that tower. But ooh, that furious dive plus petrify will not land onto Vortex as he flickers out of there, and that would be a mere disengaging, but in that bottom lane, yeah, there is a couple of fights that might break out around the map, but right now it's looking like a sandwich onto Aegean um in his tower here, but he spots that out and he will be retreating. And Babia will not be called, but that top tower, but that bottom lane tower will fall. But while there is actually a convergence onto Lidox here, the Black Dragon has been used. But yeah, that is the Furious Dive. Kiseriota committing that Minuan's Fury. Will the Incandescence will not be able to. Yeah, but he would actually still fall after so many skills committed to burst him down. And it would be Darkstars coming out on top, taking 2 towers,
yeah,
and Realm of Kings actually only taking one. But we see that heavy spin being committed here. Vortex is cut out, and that will be the glue. Ooh, but Amir's blazing duet will be cancelled by the Minion Stomp of Vortex. Has to use that flicker plus a stick and split to escape here. Amir is not letting him go, but he would focus on the turtle instead, actually.
yeah. That was. I really have no words to describe it. I mean, in terms of their engage onto Lidox, just look at the way Aegon had the presence of mind of retreating from that tier 1 turret when he sniffed out and had the sense that he was going to get a gank. Lidox actually had the resources to also get out of that team fight when he saw 4 people in his lane, but he was just too much of a child to want to give up that fight. He said his mama didn't raise him to be a loser, to be a quitter, so he decided to give it a try, and he ended up back in the fountain. So they definitely need to. These are the little things that eventually could lead to a loss or a win. They definitely need to be a bit more calculated. But actually see Lucifer calling Barbier in right there and actually going for Vortex, flickers out, and we see Kitsune making a questionable heavy spin, but we actually see the blazing duet committed by Amir to the backlines right there, but he uses the battle mirror image to go down. We see that spear of the the furious. Anyway, this spear was shot thrown.
Spell of destruction.
Spear of
But
destruction
there's
was thrown.
so many
Yeah,
flickers that are being popped now. There's a total of 4 flickers used in that fight. 3 on the side of Realm of Kings here. And yeah, Mama didn't raise a lizard, she raised a dragon. But even the dragon can die to the Sword of the Night. And
yeah,
that sword is actually a magical sword coming from I Whimper Loudly. Not a very knightly name, but a knight nonetheless. But yeah, right now we can just see that Kitsune is really, really struggling to land those heavy spins. And
yeah.
the one time he would have gotten that pin, ooh, but if you look over in the bot lane, the Nightmaric spawn to just do so much damage to Aegeon, as well as but Kitsune will be caught out in that tower.
the Minoan Fury committed to try and keep him in range, but that heavy spin will help him escape. And it's like I said, if you can use it for engages, you can at least use it to survive. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is like it's gonna be a lot going to the side of Darkstars. Vortex coming in here, but nope, he would not be able to do anything. And yeah, oh, how do you? Oof, that will be the
Oh,
inconsistence committed here. The this Dominator's Descent, Bat Feast actually trying to get that damage onto that Nightmare spawn, but no. It would only be Kiseriota to fall here. Actually on a 140 KDA. Second appearance for this Minotaur. Is he actually going to no? Yeah, he uses the inconsistence to actually get out of the air before the Furious dive catches him in that knockoff. That would have been a disaster if he got caught there. But yeah, how do you think that fight panned out,
yeah.
Davis?
Um, Before I actually talk about that fight, I would actually like to reference the heavy spins that you were talking about right there from Kitsune. And definitely there have been a lot of questionable calls on that heavy spin as it was. But we actually see an off-cam
Oof.
kill on Lucifer right here in the bottom lane. I don't know if it was lagging or if it was taunting, but either way, he is not alive right now as it stands. But actually saw some fast hands from Iwipa loudly in the last engage right there. He actually baited out a few resources from Darkstars before they could respond and react to his movements. And slowly but surely, still, especially with this Minoan Fury on Kitsune right there, and he actually has to commit that heavy spin to disengage. It's slowly looking like Realm of Kings are getting back into this game, and with Aegon being um greenlit right now with his damage probably being significant enough to cause them a stare. And what am I doing? Also having should be having enough stacks right now to also be dishing out some massive damage still.
Right now we can see Adrian has completed his third item. That has claws as well as the Malefic Gun and the Wind Talker. So Lucifer getting his first death in the game to that Moskov is not that very surprising when you see that we are going into the 13 minutes mark.
Yeah.
Pardon me, going into the 13-minute mark here. So this is the point of the game where the drafts that had two late game damage hero damage sources, yeah, it's showing their late game damage sources right now. This is not gonna be an easy game or a glide in the park. That yes, they do currently have a 7k, all right, there's 6k gold lead over Realm of Kings here, but this is the moment where they scale. And they although they have 8 kills, 4 of them fall on the Kiseriota, and that's what you want to be seeing. You don't want to be seeing your damage dealers dying. You want the front line to be dying,
Yeah,
and
indeed.
that's gonna preserve the future of the game. But yeah, as you can see, they're not actually going to be committing to this lord. Instead, Moskov is just going to farm up more gold, and Kiseriota would be providing that vision and allowing for AGM to get that safe recall back to the base. So yeah, I say that they defend this lord. The only bits of dive they have is coming from Lidux, and they could. I just realized that Kitsune is on a vengeance, not a flicker, or he
Yeah.
would have been able to make some flicker plays and possibly pin them to their crystal and help his team to end the game. But yeah, right now it's gonna be a tough one for them to actually try and end this, especially with the amount of range that
Oh,
Sicilian has. But Akisi Ryota commits that minimum
oh,
fury way too early. Aegeon, ooh, he was calling the heavy spin, but he was able to flicker out of there. And that is the caveat with the Akai. The Blazing Duet is committed in the backline, but it would not be able to land onto anyone. Mosquito Dio using that Dominator's defense, but has to leave his Nightmaric spawn. Looks like this would be all the waves cleared without anyone falling on the side of Realm of Kings. And yeah, like I said, this is looking like a comeback here. They have lost all of their inhibitors, so they do not have the wave advantage or the map pressure, but they do have the wave clear from this Moscow as well as the Sicilian. Yeah, it's going to be dependent on the engage from Kitsune as well as Lidox, or maybe a pick-off play for them to be able to. Oof! Well, what am I doing? So much damage from that Nightmare spawn. Yeah, but what do you think about this, Davis?
Yeah, I think I can see why my brain is actually short-circuiting this night. I think I've watched too much of this game for me to be able to process my thoughts properly. So many engages, so many questionable engages from different players in different scenarios right there, and I think a lot of people would also become find themselves in my situation, I guess, if they watch this game as long as I did. Maybe you are immune, but it seems I'm susceptible to it. But so far, yeah, I think Realm of Kings. I hate to say it, but their chances of remaining in this tournament are getting slimmer with each passing minute. I mean, if they actually can keep this game for as long as they can manage, as well as try to make a very good engage, it's still possible that they can overturn it. But just as they have scaling heroes in their own lineup, Darkstars also have equally good scaling heroes on their lineup as well, who are actually dealing lots of damage now in the late game. So much so that they can't even contest for this Lord right now. And there's going to be another free Lord being taken by Dark Stars. I was actually thinking that Aegon will actually try something with the Spell of Destruction, but I guess they won't want to take that chance. I mean, could it actually hurt? That's basically a no risk chance right there. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you just move on to the next best thing, I guess. But um, seems they have other plans. But possibly they are saving that resource for an engage to the back lines of Dark Stars when they eventually come march into their base. But the Lord is actually coming down the middle still, and it's looking like we have a big fight on our hands. Okay.
Yeah, right now we can see the Lord marching down. Vortex actually using that split, but the Lord would march into the Crystal, which is unexpected. The Iran Fury in the back line, and he will be able to catch on to treat, but that is the heavy spin committed. Oh, but the Bats impact coming in from what am I doing? That will be a kill onto a mirror. Double kill with a grab. The Spear of Destruction does not land
Miss.
onto the back line. Iwimpo Laudi will be able to secure that kill onto Mosquito Dio, and this is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
AG on almost on a full build. Just a rose gold beer left to complete his fifth item. Is just going to be dealing a massive amount of damage. It is 18 minutes into the game, and that bat's impact is just it's slapping. It's slapping hard. But yeah, I don't like what I'm seeing when the Lord is being allowed to enter into the crystal before they defend. This could have turned out very differently, but oh, that heavy spin will actually be able to save him. That Minuan Fury will be committed here, but the grab coming from the glue, but he will be pushed out. Amir will not be able to but that would be a very excellent flicker coming in from Kiseriota to help him survive the damage from Lidox here. They have been able to take the tier 1 tower, but they still have to be mindful as there is a minion wave in the bottom lane that is marching down.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely need to be mindful as it stands. Maybe after all, it was not because of the match that I was having my brain short circuiting, because I've been yawning a lot. So it seems that I really, really need to go to bed. So I'm not saying anything directly or indirectly, but let's just say that the earlier this match ends, the better for me, I guess. But indeed, like you said, the bat impact is actually having a very big impact on the game as it stands right now. So what am I doing? Needs to be very, very careful, because I think Healy and Aegon will now be the main target. Like, I mean, they've always been the main target, but Amir will definitely be keeping a closer eye on them, especially with his blazing duet into the back lines. So they definitely need to be wary of their positioning as it stands and not just being going out of position. And just as I say it, there we have what am I doing? Actually going down there. So we really need to ask him what he's doing right there, Stu, because it doesn't look like he's doing what he should be doing.
Yeah, right now he did go clear those waves without his tank being present, and that's, you know, as a mid laner or as a damage dealer in general, you don't want to be caught alone. Like, you can't defend yourself, you cannot defend yourself. And yeah, I would say that this Minotaur has to time those ultimates properly, because he hasn't been timing those ultimates well. He needs to keep it either for a counter engage or for a good engage. But right now he's been in the middle of both and done none. Uh, so Amir has that blazing duet. If he can just keep his minion stomp um, ready for him. And look, okay, it looks now that they were going to be properly holding that out. But oh, there is so much damage coming from the Nightmare spawn. Dominion Fury is committed here, but that Lord will match into the base. As in the back line, what am I doing? Will fall. Amir focusing on that base, but the damage coming in from Aegeon will pop his immortality as the crystal does fall to the damage of the Lord. Yeah, and as you can see, the moment that Lord got in there and landed a few swipes, it was basically over for the base. And Vortex coming in with that MVP loss, 33% damage taken, 35 on that Kisiriota on that Minotaur, and 36 on Akai, played by Kitsune. And Mosquito Dio actually coming in here with the MVP and a 40% damage dealt, which is double over his second Amir with that 20% damage dealt. So yeah, the Zas pick actually coming in clutch. I still
Sure.
believe a Valia pick would have done better based on absolutely zero technical analysis or any basis. It's just because I say so, and my
Mm,
sources, I made it the free cup. But
mm.
yeah, this was a nice match. We will catch you again tomorrow as usual. And if you haven't, like the stream and subscribe, because I'm watching you from a bedroom window. And with that said, do you have any closing remarks for us, Davis?
Yeah, you are biased, you are very biased. But hey, it
Of
is what it
course,
is.
I'm a Nigerian.
Yeah, fair enough indeed. But credit where credit is due. This last week, Mosquito Dio actually played one hell of a game right there, and kudos to Darkstars for maintaining their place in the tournament as it stands. And unfortunately, this is the last time we'll be seeing Realm of Kings taking part in this tournament. They did put up a fight, a somewhat of a fight, I guess, yeah, if we can say that, but it just was not enough. And Darkstars proved that they are the superior players right now. So yeah, I'm definitely eager to call it a night as well because, like I said, I need to go to bed. So as Stu said, do well to like and subscribe and do all the necessaries because he will always be watching from your window. So Stu, sign off off please.
Yeah, good night, everyone, and see you tomorrow.